Hi, this is Scott with Android Guys. I'm here with Luke.
Hello.
Luke, you have a game you'd like to talk about?
I do. I'm going to talk about a game called Random Dice: PvP Defense. This is essentially a tower defense game.
Okay.
But your fighting squad, your defense is dice. So there's two sides of the board on the screen, your side and your opponent's side. And it's a 3x5 grid where you put down your dice. And monsters go around your grid. There's a start side and an end side. And if they get to the end, you lose a life. If you lose 3 lives, you lose. And what you're doing is you're playing these dice. As you kill monsters, you get points to buy more dice. And then if you have dice of the same type, you can combine them to make a more powerful one. So if you have 2 1s, you can put them together and make a 2. 2 2s, you can make a 3. But there are different kind of dice. There's dice that slow enemies down. There's dice that poison enemies, so it'll do like damage over time. There's dice that will stop enemies for a certain amount of time. There's dice that change their type randomly, so you'll have like one that there's like a gust die where you'll have a burst of attack speed. There's an arrow slinging dice where it'll do like a heavy attack. There's all these different kind of die, and you will unlock them as you play through the game and get points. You get treasure chests. You can, and then you get more rare dice, and then you can upgrade them to higher tiers. And the cool thing is when you attack and kill a monster, it then sends it over to your opponent's side. So if you're faster at killing monsters, you can basically overwhelm your opponent. And there's bosses that come through. And then there's like main bosses where it's one central boss, and there's like 2 versions of it, and both are, one's on your side, one's on the opponent's side, and whoever kills that boss first wins.
Okay.
There are some other game modes. There's a co-op mode, so you can play with somebody else. There is this arcade mode where you can do random match types. Now, I've only got far enough to unlock the mirror mode. So essentially, it takes your current deck, which is you can choose up to 5 different dice to use in battles. It basically takes your current deck and you fight against yourself, but the AI is controlling you.
Is it like a training mode?
No, it's just an arcade mode. Okay. So it's basically, see how well you can do against yourself. Okay. But the AI plays as your opponent, and does basically whatever they think is the best thing to do at the given time.
Got it.
So it doesn't do everything that you do. It's not like a true, like, if you combine these two, it will combine these two. But it might combine something, or it might just buy more dice where it would be attacking faster and not necessarily attacking as hard. It's interesting. I didn't expect it to be that. I had talked about a game a while ago called Diecast.
Yes.
And that was more of a kind of Mario Party-esque, board. And you're fighting against an opponent by rolling dice to move and stuff like that, or rolling dice to hit monsters. And I thought it was maybe a variation of that kind of play, not really a tower defense thing. And the graphics for the app icon and the screens looked a little different than the actual gameplay. But that being said, I've gotten into it and started playing it, and it's really kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
More fun than I thought it would be when I opened it. Because when I opened it, I was like, ooh, this is not good.
Okay.
The graphics are very simple. And they are these monsters that are going around your defenses are essentially just look like squares. And the bosses are like squares with like kind
Tentacles?
of like a rock outline around them. Like, it's not, the graphics aren't aren't great.
Okay.
And there's like milestones or quests that you can complete. Like if you kill, X amount of monsters, you get, a reward. Some of those have like iconography of like swords and shields or arrows or potions, and that doesn't really make much sense because it's just dice and there's monsters are just squares. Like
Right.
you're not really seeing much characters at all.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's a fun game, and it feels like you're playing. Sometimes, if there's a PvP game, it says PvP, but you're really playing like an AI of somebody else's actual team, and it's like you don't actually have to be there to play.
Right.
It's like playing on your behalf against somebody else. But this one, there are little emotes that you can do while you're playing to communicate with the opponent. You can do a mad face if they do something and hurt you, or you can do a happy face, or laugh or something if you're beating them. So it does feel like there is some like actual, like you're actually playing against a real person when you're playing.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I would say if you like tower defense games, this has some cool stuff as far as being able to upgrade. It's kind of, it's the match game where you match them and it gets better, and matching gets better, and tower defense together. So there's some, two different types of gameplay that go together. But it does have, fair amount of asking for money, and it for what it is, for how it looks, there might be better options.
Okay. Let me ask this.
Okay.
Can you level up your dice between games?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can start out with, as you complete challenges or complete milestones or beat people, you gain money. And there's like a money thing and a gem thing. Gems will unlock more different kinds of dice, and money will upgrade those dice.
So it's not the same dice every time, but you can actually get like unlock a rare one that does something special.
Right.
Okay.
And then you create your 5 die that you will have in your battle based on your whole collection that you've accumulated.
Okay.
So if you want to build, I want to build a slow deck, basically, where all I do is slow the enemies. You can do that. Or I want to build a poison one, or I want to build a high attack one. There's all different ways, I imagine, to build your decks. But it doesn't, it's almost like playing a simulator made like on an Excel spreadsheet, because there's not graphics behind it. Like it doesn't feel like
you could read the outcome just as much as imagine it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cool, but I'm interested to see. I would like to see a version that was a little bit more fun to watch while you're playing. Let's throw some scores on it and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious here. Let's start with features out of a 1 to 5.
1 to 5, I would give that a 3.
Okay.
Because there is some various game modes where you can, there's just regular PvP, there's co-op, and there is like an arcade mode that has mirror matches and a couple of different things. And then you have the ability to make different kind of decks. There's a lot of game here for free.
Okay.
So a 3, I think it's not pushing any boundaries in my mind of like, oh, I've never thought of a game like that. But it does it pretty well.
All right. I have an idea how you might score this, but graphics.
I gave graphics a 2.5.
Okay.
The graphics are very simple. I wish there was more, but the ones that are there don't look terrible. They're just not as good as they should be.
Okay.
It's not like, everything matches, like line weights are correct. type looks like it fits in it. Colors look right. Like it all cohesively looks correct. It's just so simple. And maybe that's, for ease of play, and the game is, I'm playing on a good phone. So, and the game is fast, very responsive when you're, if a game is, it's built on speed where you have to, kill these things before they get to your end place, and you're trying to put dice together and make things, it has to be responsive, and it definitely is.
Okay.
So maybe that's why, but it's very, very simple.
Okay. How's the audio?
Audio, I gave it a 3.
Okay.
The music in between the levels is okay. It's very kind of like fantasy-ish. The audio when you're playing is a whole bunch of like bubble pops, like because you're just shooting from your base at these monster squares going around, and it gets a little monotonous, but it's not annoying. It's that fine line of like, I don't want to listen to this all the time, but it's not killing me while I'm playing.
Okay.
So yeah, audio would be a 3.
How's the replay value?
Replay value, I'm giving it a 4.
Okay.
Because I do find myself still wanting to play it. I really like PvP games, and this is the newest PvP game for me, and so I want to play more. I want to see, because it feels like I'm winning a lot right now.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get to that point where I'm not, and so I kind of want to play. I want to keep getting good until I'm not good enough.
Well, then there's the strategy of, do I power up these dice, or do I swap out a different one from my deck?
Yeah, this is working really well. Did I find the thing that works?
Yeah.
Or am I just playing everybody brand new?
Yeah. Did I lock into a rare one early on?
Right.
That kind of gives me an advantage over other level 5 players.
Right.
Okay.
And then ads and notifications, the last thing, is a 3.
Okay.
It's nothing overly offensive. It's there are some like notifications of, hey, come back and play. I've seen that a couple times. I've seen the pop-ups. There is one thing that's driving me nuts in this game. There is a game pass kind of thing that you can buy as you get farther in the game and level up. You unlock rewards, and if you buy the special pass, you get a bonus reward every time you level. And there's a little notification icon in that section of the menu, and normally it's like, oh, this is a new feature, click on it to see what it is. I've seen it, they just want me to buy it.
Right.
The notification won't go away. So it's like, okay, guys, I get it.
Yeah.
I get you want me to pay the extra for the game. I'm not going to. Please stop asking. So a 3. So overall, that's a 3.1, which is decent.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there are games that do this exact same thing but look better.
Sure.
And I might look for those games.
Okay.
But this is the one that was like advertised to me by the algorithm, and so this is the one I downloaded, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's a pretty fun game, even though I wish it looked better.
Sure. One more time, the name of it?
Random Dice PvP Defense.
All right. Thank you, Luke.
No problem.